Hey guys, how are you doing today?
Hi!
So today we're going to be telling some paranormal, spooky stories.
Too spooky for me.
I really wanted to get some like burning sage because I thought that would just be like a nice addition to the episode. However, I went to Walmart and I went to Target and I just couldn't find like burning sage. So I had to compromise with myself. So first I got some rubbed sage.
What is rubbed sage?
I don't know, but it doesn't smell good. And next I got a prayer candle. This is in the Holy Spirit. Thought it was fitting. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna dump some of the sage into the candle.
The rubbed sage. It's gonna smell like
ass. I've dumped some of the rubbed sage into the candle, and then using the devil's lighter because you know gotta keep things like balanced. I'm gonna go ahead and light the candle, and it'll essentially
it'll ward off the spooky ghost.
It'll be like we're burning sage. So if there's anything bad that happens, we'll keep you updated. But I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the table now. That smells like weed. That smells like we're smoking weed.
We're just getting high.
Scary story. So I'm going to start first, and this is my like earliest, I guess, remembrance of like anything paranormal happening to me, and it was just overall a weird situation that I still don't have an explanation for. Okay, so what happened was I was actually having a sleepover with my friend at the time, and this is in elementary school, so we were probably in 5th or 6th grade at the time, and we were having a sleepover, and my younger brother, who was 7 years younger than me, so at the time he was around 5 years old, he was staying the night over at a neighbor's house. So just as we're about to like start going to sleep, my door, like there's a knock on my door, and it opens, and it's my little brother, and he says, "Stephanie?" And then he didn't see me and closed the door. And like I immediately turned to my friend, I'm like, "Did you see that?" She's like, "Yes." And I'm like, "My brother's not home." We immediately got up, searched the entire house, like he wasn't there. He was 5 years old. There was no way he could leave where he was, come back to the house. My mom didn't give us keys, so he could not come back to the house, come inside, and then leave in such a brief amount of time. We searched the entire house for him, and it was just so bizarre that, you know, he just opened the door. So like my only like theory about this was it has to like do with like parallel universes. So maybe there were two universes. My universe, where my friend and I were sleeping on the floor, where my brother was somewhere else, but I was clearly in my room. And then another universe when my brother was at home, and he was knocking on my door to see if I was in there. And in his universe, I wasn't in my room, so he left. And that's all I have for like the only possible explanation for why my little brother, who was not home, who was not dead, just like randomly knocked on my door, said "Stephanie," and then closed the door. It was weird.
It's like for some reason there was like a little ripple and crossover right then.
Exactly. And like I could see him, but like he couldn't see me. And I have a witness. It happened.
My paranormal story I thought is probably not going to be nearly as cool because mine was... Okay, so there's some leeway to the story, kind of like build it up a little bit. So when I was younger, probably around 17 or 18, I used to have this like really dangerous, like looking back on it now, hobby of going and exploring old abandoned mines here in Arizona, because we have a bunch of like old gold mines and like copper mines, like all kinds of mines like in our mountains. So what we used to do, you know, we'd gear up, we get our hiking boots on, you know, we had these big like super awesome, aka like lame looking headlamps, and like we would go exploring in these caves. So a lot of the times like a lot of them were caved in, closed up, like not very big or very exciting, but one of the biggest mines we were able to find, I think it's called the DeSoto mine. We decided to go there, so like a couple of my friends, and we get geared up, and to get into this mine, this is probably one of the biggest like still explorable mines kind of, but to kind of give you an idea, when you go into the mine, everything ground level and below is flooded. So it's all like water. And then everything above obviously is not flooded because you can still go inside. Anyway, so when you're walking into the entrance, like there's a little bit of water, so you have to be careful where you're stepping like to get in. But then you start going back, and we started like exploring all these caverns. At one point, like because everything had been flooded, there was like one of this like big grand chamber and it was essentially like an indoor lake because everything had been flooded. It was so big, and the only way to get across this chamber was this like little wooden platform. But granted, this like platform is probably at least 100, probably 200 years old, because this is sort of like the old like Arizona mining. It was a long time ago. So I mean, it's sketchy, it's scary. So we go walking across, and like tons of people have died in this mine. Like, it was a really dangerous mine even when they were mining it. And we finally get to the end of this big chamber, and there's like a little seating like place where you can like sit down. So we all like kind of sit down, and we had the bright idea of like we're all gonna turn off our headlamps because like it'd be like the darkest dark we've ever seen, and it'd be like really, really cool. And so like we turn off the headlamps, and then like we're just sitting there, and like I'm freaking out because I'm very scared of the dark. Like, I don't like being in dark places, and this was the darkest dark I've ever seen. Like, can you like just imagine like being so far under the ground, like there's not like a hint of light coming from anything. Like, I can't even explain how dark this darkness is. And then like we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden like I get really, really cold. Like, I mean, it's already pretty cold inside the mine because like you're underground, it's flooded, but like I get like ice cold. It's freezing. It almost feels like there's kind of like a breeze. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I was just so cold. And then like we started hearing this music. And I can't even explain. I'm literally like I have goosebumps right now, guys. Like, I'm literally have goosebumps like remembering it. Like, seriously, like
oh my gosh,
like it was
all
so,
over her life.
Like, literally, I was like, who? Because like this music, like, because all the headlights are still off. It's still like pitch black in there, and it's like the most haunting. Like, it was like almost like classical, but like not. I couldn't even like. It wasn't one instrument. It wasn't like I could like say like, oh, it was like an old like classical piano. Like, it was like, I don't know how to explain. Like, it was just this music that just sounded like death. I don't know how to explain it. It just sounded creepy. And of course, like, I don't really want to hear it, and I'm there with like, I was there with two other people. There were three of us all together, and they hear it too, and they turn all of our headlamps back on. We're like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. So like, we have to like, I was the point where I want to run, but granted, we still had to cross over that like rickety ass bridge. I almost just jumped in the lake and swam, like, because I was so scared walking. But truthfully, like, if we'd have fallen, we would have just fallen into water, so like we would have fallen and died. But like, so yeah, that was definitely like the last time I went into the caves and went to that. Cause I think we were all just so freaked out afterwards, and it was like almost time for me to graduate high school and stuff. We just never tried that again. But that was fucking scary. I'm like thinking, like, literally, I almost had so many goosebumps. But yeah, that one was really scary because it's just like, it was so haunting, and it sounded so far away. It was like very, very faint. Like, it just sounded like this like little tiny like tickle.
The longer we had the lights out, the closer they were gonna get.
Dude, I know! And it was fucking scary, and I was just like, I was done. Like, I'm getting goosebumps again. Like, I'm done. Tapping out.
So my next story, it involves my previous apartment and the current place I'm living in.
The haunted condo.
So both places had like kind of weird like haunting things. So it starts in my old apartment, and really this didn't happen right away. Like, this actually happened more towards the time that I was about to move out. But there were 3 different things that happened at the apartment that were kind of just weird. So the first one, and all of them were right as I was about to go to bed. Like, I was laying down, getting ready to go to bed, and the first time I just hear a crash from like my living room or my kitchen or somewhere outside of my room. And you know, the rational part of me, like, it's probably just my cats, but I'm I'm terrified of someone breaking into my apartment. So I immediately jump out of bed, put my glasses on, and run out and see what crashed. And I look over my entire apartment, and nothing's fallen over, nothing's broken, there's nothing at all out of place. So I'm like, okay, that was kind of weird, but I mean, whatever, there's nothing here. So I went back to my room, went to bed. And just like 2 nights later, same thing, about to go to bed, I hear a cabinet slam. And I was like, what the fuck? Because first of all, my cats can't open cabinets, let alone slam cabinets. So I jump out of bed again, thinking there's someone there. And I look everywhere, and like this time, like, I knew that there wasn't really anything to look for other than like a person there, because I'm not gonna know which cabinet was slammed. They're all closed. No cabinets are open. My cats can't open cabinets. And if they can't open cabinets, they just walk into them. So they don't slam the cabinet. So I thought that was weird, but there's nothing here. So I went back to bed. And then the next one happened maybe like a week or a couple weeks later. And this one was the scariest. So again, starting to go to bed, and then I'm facing like one direction. I'm facing away from the middle of my bed, like I'm facing the wall, and I feel something sit down next to me. Like I just feel like someone's sitting down. So I like slowly turn over and there's nothing there, and I can feel eyes on me. I'm like, this is really creepy. I can still feel someone sitting next to me. I can feel someone watching me, but like I didn't know what to do. So I'm pretty sure I said something out loud like, okay, good night. Something that like would just, you know, I didn't want to antagonize if there was like something next to me. I didn't want to antagonize them. I'm like, okay, well, good night then. I just turned back over and went to sleep. And so those are the weird things that happened in my old apartment. And then in my new place, a couple of weird things have happened as well. The main thing that I noticed within the first couple of nights is my door would like bang. Like I'm gonna show you. All right, well you can listen at least. So it would sound like this. But sometimes it would be quieter, and sometimes it would sound like someone was actually just gently knocking on my door.
Someone wants to come in, that's for sure.
I don't want them to come in. So also one of my lights is like, it flickers.
Dude, that's what makes me think this place is haunted. Because this light, like, there's no like rhyme or reason for it. Like every other light in the house is fine, but like this one light is like directly over like the dining room. It just like flickers, but it only seems to do it like when there's like people out there like talking. Like this is what I've recognized. It's like it only really flickers like when we're like interacting in that area. Like if we're just ignoring it, it's just on, it's fine. But it's like if we're like sitting down like having a conversation or like it's like somehow interacting with the living room / dining room, like it starts getting like worse. Like the more time we spend like sitting out there talking, like because like I usually sit at her like table like edit videos and stuff, we'll be talking, and like the longer we sit out there, like the more like almost like agitated the light becomes. Another
thing is, I don't know what this is. So it's happened 2 or 3 times when I've been going to the bathroom. So like I'm sitting on the toilet, and out of the corner of my eye, there's like this black thing that's just like swoops across like this like side of my thing, and like it's swooping at a point where like
your mirror.
It would, yeah, in my mirror, that it would be leaving the mirror and be behind me. So I always figure it's like a giant fucking bug or something, and I turn around and I search for it and nothing's there. And that's happened 2 or 3 times in the exact same place, and I don't know what it is. Like it just like is there and it's gone, and there's nothing in the room that would suggest that it was there.
It's the poop ghost.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. And the last thing is since I have in this apartment pretty recently, also had the sitting next to me thing on my bed, because I sleep on the side of my bed, like I don't sleep on the whole bed, and I had another like sitting next to me thing. The sitting on the bed is always, of course, the creepiest. It's like
that was like the hardest to like explain, I feel like, too. So we'll definitely keep you guys updated as, you know, because she just recently moved into this place.
Yeah.
So we'll keep you updated on the haunted condo and see, you know, what kind of other spooky things happen here. Maybe we'll do like a spooky sleepover one night or something. And
I mean, I don't know if anything will really happen. Everything's been so subtle. Like, there's never been like a bad presence. Like, it's always creepy, but it's never like I feel like someone wants to hurt me. So that's good at least.
They could be your new best friend.
No.
We should name it.
No, we shouldn't. I don't fuck with ghosts. That's been like my experience in my past 2 places that I lived. If any of you watch my sister, CJ's, she's got some stories about the house we grew up in being kind of weird. So you should check that out if you want to. We'll link it down below.
Yeah, if you guys ever had like a spooky story or like a scary, you know, haunting kind of type story, tell us down below in the comments. Like, we want to hear about them. We want to see what you guys are. If you guys have any spooky stories to tell yourselves.
Or give us your theories on like what's happening.
Why especially is there with like ghost?
Especially with the parallel universe thing. Like, I'm trying to figure that out still.
So.
Okay, so I think that's all the stories we have. So to end this video, we're just gonna read a little prayer
from the back of the prayer candle.
Breathe in me, O Holy Spirit, that my thoughts may always be holy. Act in me, O Holy Spirit, that my work too may be holy.
Is your bed shaking, or is that just me?
I didn't feel it shaking.
I definitely felt it shake. Oh my god, I felt it shake. I'm so god. Like, literally I felt it shake. Like someone was sitting down.
Okay, so
we're done.
my ghost. They didn't like the prayer. I will never read it again. That is going in the trash. Please forgive me.
I'm not kidding. So I'd be like, I am not kidding. I felt your bed shake.
Please forgive me.
Oh my god.
Hope you enjoyed this video. I might die tonight.
Oh my god, I'm so scared.
So right now we're taking this out to the stairs.
It's just going away.
I only take my trash out once a week. So this needs to go now.
Oh my god.
I'm not even getting my keys. So the prayer candle is now in the trash.